Hello, before anything, I just want to say to the people that have come to this video via my music YouTube channel, big hello, and I'm so sorry I've been away for such a long time. This video in part will probably explain why. Just to heads up that this video contains no music, singing, musical theatre, me sporadically singing, maybe some waffling. Waffling will definitely happen. You know, if you've seen any of my music videos, that will be happening. So yeah, keep that in mind. This video is for spreading awareness of something I've been going through for the last couple of years, and also hopefully to help people who already have what I have, just help them, hopefully, if there's anyone out there, because I know how scary and confusing this process is with not much information out there. Just these amazing few who put blogs up, and you know, the whole organisation ITSAN, that's pretty much it. So yes, before anything, I just want to do a couple of disclaimers, not more than a couple. I'm not anti-drugs. I think drugs are wonderful. You know which drugs I'm talking about. I'm not being dodgy. I have the deepest respect for doctors and what they do, and I hope this video does not come across as me bashing doctors, because I am certainly not doing that. I have, like I said, the deepest respect for what they do. It's incredible. I also want to mention, because I think this is very important, I haven't had to work for the last couple of years. I haven't got children to look after. I haven't had to clean. All I've had to concentrate on is getting better, and I know I'm lucky in that respect, because I know there's some people who have had to do all the things mentioned above. I'm just checking to the left of me, my computer is set up with notes, so bear with me. I am going to be looking over there quite a lot, just so I don't miss anything out, because I do want to mention everything. Is that it? Right. This video, I felt very inspired by the Facebook groups I have joined recently about topical steroid syndrome and topical steroid withdrawal and red skin syndrome. I was debating whether to do this in the first place, but there were a lot of people on those groups that seemed like they were struggling, and at my position in withdrawal, I feel like, I mean, I'm definitely not there, but I feel like I can maybe help a bit. I hope so anyway. I mean, this is totally my opinion, and, you know, take from it what you will. So for the people who haven't heard of this before, either the topical steroid withdrawal or the red skin syndrome, basically for the last just over 2 years, I have had a condition called red skin syndrome, and I've been going through a process called topical steroid withdrawal. Okay, they're completely linked, those two things. I will try and explain, but the internet and ITSAN and all those wonderful people can do it better than I can, so bear that in mind. Basically, I have had eczema since I was 6 months old. Through my sort of childhood, it got better when I was 7. On and off before then, it was quite bad. But when I was 7, it sort of cleared up until I got to secondary school at 11. And throughout my teenage years, I wasn't very happy at school, and it kind of showed in my skin. My eczema came up really badly. From being a baby until a teenager, I saw approximately 1 billion doctors, and bar one fabulous nurse called Janine, I think she was called Janine, who was amazing, I was told the only thing, because eczema is incurable, and I had to remember that, and I also had to remember to not scratch. Wow, you know how wonderful that advice is if you're desperate to scratch. Yeah, so these doctors told me to use steroid cream. That was the one treatment that seemed to be available. Luckily, my mum's not anti-drugs, but she tends to not want to use drugs unless it's necessary. She was very reluctant to use steroid creams on me, especially when I was young, and it cleared up on its own when I was young. So that happened. Now, this next part, the actual getting sort of addicted to the steroid creams, is very sketchy, because it's been over 10 years. So when I was 16, I think it's 16, maybe a bit younger, before I was 16, I definitely used one course of oral steroids. I will probably try and put the details in the description bar of what they were. To be honest, I kind of regret using the oral steroids because I was forced, they were forced upon me somewhat, and to be honest, the doctors that I saw personally did tend to try, and they didn't seem to be very happy if you didn't follow along with using the steroids, you know, that they prescribed. And using this course of oral steroids, I mean, at this point my eczema was quite bad, so I just used them. My mum wasn't happy about this, but there you go. When I was 16, I think, I started using steroids because obviously the oral steroids didn't work really, but I think I must have started using steroid cream from that point, and when I'd come off them, I'd start getting eczema straight away, and my eczema started spreading. So that was happening, but I kept going back to the doctors all this time, you know, from 16, and all the doctors that I spoke to said, oh, that's eczema, you should really be using stronger, because I was using Humavate. Even then I thought, oh, I really don't want to use stronger than Humavate. I mean, I used them because, you know, I thought I had really bad eczema. So yeah, I was using Humavate. Through the years, I weaned myself down to using Humavate just under my chin and on my wrist, basically my hands actually. I would do that with the Humavate and spread it on my hands, and that seemed to control my entire body. For some reason, all through this time from being 16 to sort of 24, 25, I would keep trying to come off steroid cream and my eczema would come back violently, and then I would go back to the doctors. I'd say, oh, my eczema is really bad, and they'd say, oh, use a steroid cream, use stronger than Humavate. So then I'd be like, oh, so I'd just go back to the small bit of Humavate I was using. A few years ago, sort of maybe a couple of years ago before I withdrew, so maybe I was 23, 22, oh god, I decided to use hydrocortisone. So I came down from Humavate to hydrocortisone very slowly, and then I repeated the same process where I would use hydrocortisone and on my chin and my sort of hands. I would use it once to twice a day, every day. I found doing it like that, using the small bit, that much would stop it from coming up. I found if I came off it, I would, you know, have this eczema. So I was just in a vicious sort of cycle, and I thought, you know, the doctors have told me I've got incurable eczema, what, I want to live, you know, I'll just use the steroid cream. I thought, you know, I'm using a relatively mild one, I'll just keep going. I had a really busy sort of work life, a busy social life, and, you know, I just wanted to forget. I just wanted to live normally, because I mean, I had the memories of my teenage years, you know, living with eczema, and I just, you know, you listen to doctors basically who tell you have eczema, and you know, so that happened. I was a couple of months, I think it was April 2013, maybe March 2013, I was asked to sing at my friend's wedding, and I was going to do that. Then I got quite a big audition, so I had to cancel the wedding, and the day of the audition and my friend's wedding, my eyes pretty much exploded, like they blew up really badly, and I started noticing I had patches of eczema on my leg and my arm. I mean, to like the world you wouldn't notice them, but apart from the eyes, but to, you know, me, they were there and I couldn't understand them. I put steroid cream on those patches of eczema, the patch on my leg, the patch on my arms, and nothing would do anything. My eyes calmed down very quickly, but I missed the audition, but whatever, and the friend's wedding, and he probably hates me now, sorry. So yeah, that happened. I went to the doctor and we had our lovely repetitive chat where I would say, oh, this happened, and she'd say, oh, you should use Betnovate, and I was like, I don't want to use anything strong. She's like, oh, it's mild. Yes, doctor, yes, doctor. At this point, I was coming to a bit of a crossroads. I seemed to have two choices. I seemed to have the choice where I would go up the potency scale of topical steroids, or the other option at that point. I was a bit confused. I didn't know what to do. From sort of April until June, that was my thought process. I didn't know what to do. I had these little patches that weren't going anywhere, but I just didn't know what to do. I've already said that. So on a whim, my mum on the Thursday the 6th of June 2013, on the morning of that day, she started getting really worried. I mean, up until then, I'd noticed veins coming up on my face, veins on the crease of my arm, veins coming up everywhere. I mean, my skin's pretty pale, so I'm pretty see-through, but I mean, it was like just very worrying veins. My skin was really thin at this point. My mum was really panicking. She didn't want me to be on the steroid cream as it was, but she, you know, she understood at the same time what was happening. But yeah, that morning she was like, oh, you know, what's going on? And on a whim that evening, I typed into Google as something like addicted to steroid cream, and bam, all this stuff just, I feel like crying. Oh God, sorry. Right, okay. All this stuff came up about topical steroid withdrawal, red skin syndrome, and it was like a light bulb went off, and I realised that what it was, and that second I decided to just stop using steroid creams, all of them, and just go through it. Luckily, oh God, I'm so sorry. Luckily, when I make a decision, I'm kind of stubborn when I've decided to do something. So I knew whatever happened, I was going to do this topical steroid withdrawal. And sort of as I went through topical steroid withdrawal, I started learning more about it. I think that kind of saved me a lot of stress leading up to it, because oh God, it's been quite an extraordinary couple of years. I'm sorry for that little dramatic emotional outburst that just hit me. It's been quite an emotional week actually, because I did, oh dear God, I'm so sorry. I did a photo diary that I put up on YouTube, and just seeing what's happened over the past couple of years has been a bit hard to deal with. And yeah, okay, I don't want to stop filming, so I'm sorry you just had that mess, but yeah, so where was I? Hello, I know I said I wasn't going to stop the camera, but I did in the end, because what I was saying after my little emotional bit was gobbledygook, so it seemed pointless to keep filming. I've also moved the camera, so I have no idea what I look like, if you can even see me properly in it, but whatever, I just wanted to film this. I'm feeling, even though I still feel emotional, I feel I've got to just push on and talk about it. So I got up to the bit where I just started topical steroid withdrawal. For the first couple of weeks, it was okay. I mean, I was starting to notice my eyes getting puffy, I was getting redder in the face, my face was blowing up, but with foundation and sort of makeup, I could cover it and I could kind of look like myself and continue on as normal. I have to say though, from sort of get-go, I just felt very sort of out of it. I remember going to a brunch thing with my friends and just sitting there and they were talking. I was like, I was just a bit out of it, really. Also, a couple of days after starting withdrawal, I had this very sexy crustache. So it was like this crusty layer of skin on that area. It was really hot, guys. Oh my God. So that was happening. But it was, in the first few weeks, it was sort of, it was doable. Like I thought, oh my God, if it's going to be like this, it's fine. I was mistaken. So towards the end of the first month, I took a turn for the worse. Luckily, at this point, incredibly, I should say, my mum banned me from going to work, and she said, she didn't, I don't think at the time she thought it would last 2 years, but she said she would support me through this and I didn't have to work. So I feel incredibly lucky, and she also looked after me, but I'll get onto that bit, the segment of I love my mummy very much. She's an incredible part of this video. So yeah, I took a turn for the worst, and on Monday the 1st of July, so just under a month into topical steroid withdrawal, I woke up, looked in the mirror, and I didn't recognise myself. Like, not even just a bit. My face just changed. It had swelled to such an incredible point that I couldn't see through my eyes, really. I had these 2 slits because my eyes had puffed out so much that I just couldn't see. My mouth had sort of swollen shut. My lips were like completely swelled. I was like a pink purple colour, like red, tinged with red. It was the most extraordinary colour. My neck was weeping, like around here was weeping. Oh my god, it was just ridiculous. And I remember coming down to the living room and I was like, Mum, don't look, just, I have to warn you, my face, oh my god, it's completely different. So that happened, and I remember my mum sitting and like patting my eyes and my lips so I could just move them slightly and I could use my eyes. That was handy. So yeah, that happened. And yeah, a few days later, to give you an idea of what I looked like, it was the Saturday. So on the Monday I woke up with this face. And yeah, the Saturday I was travelling on the tube to my friend's birthday thing that I didn't really want to miss. I should have missed it technically, but yeah, with what I was doing. But yeah, so I was on the tube and this guy came and sat down next to me. He looked at my face and he got up and sat in the next carriage, which was rude. I'm not excusing his behaviour, but I thought I would give you an example of what I may have looked like to the public. So yeah, that little venture was the last time I saw my friends for 2 years. So yeah, that happened. So after I came back from seeing my friends, the following 2 months, I don't want to like put anyone off, because I'm going to say before I explain how bad it was that this has been the best thing I have ever done for myself. Hand on heart, genuinely, it's been the best time of my life in the most screwed up, ridiculous way, and the best thing I've ever done for myself. Honestly, oh, I'm so grateful I did this. So yeah, but brace yourself, it is really bad. So from that point, I didn't sleep for a year. Like, legitimately, I didn't really sleep. I slept in sort of bursts, like 1 to 2 hour bursts. Over that time, those first few months, yeah, I sort of remember sitting on the end of the bed because I just didn't want to go. I didn't want to lie down because I just lie there scratching and weeping, and I used to huddle on the edge of the bed, really frightened. Ridiculous it sounds, but it's true. So my skin, imagine the worst sunburn you've ever had, just like baking, like just like in open sun in like ridiculously hot weather, getting the worst sunburn of your life, having the deepest bone itch you can imagine, and the only way to sort of stop the itch would be to sort of rip your skin open. That's what I would describe it as. And on top of that, it's like, hey, let's give you some weeping skin. That's what basically. Oh, and lest we not forget the dry skin that came afterwards. It was extraordinary. I didn't know that the body could produce so much skin. Extraordinary. Those were the first few months. After that, it was the same sort of symptoms. Luckily, the weeping skin for me stopped. I got very lucky there, and I would say from that point, things slowly started getting better. At the first few months, I had it all over my body, but maybe, I don't know, first 1 to 6 months it was bad, but slowly things started shrinking in mass to where the places that I use steroid cream, the place where I use steroid cream the most, I'm sorry I stopped it again because I just completely lost my train of thought and I was going blah 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 blah. So there, just to warn you, it did get better. Like, I think for anyone going through this, be prepared for the first few months. You've got to brace yourself. You will be fine and you will get through it. but it'll be hard, really, really hard, and things do get better. So yeah, I found for me, at first it was sort of basically full body, you know, the weeping, itching, awful, and slowly over time sort of it would shrink the area to where I used to use topical steroids, which for me was sort of like the chin, which made it spread. Sort of my neck and my face were really bad, and my hands and my arms, luckily the backs of my knees, my legs and my back and sort of my stomach area sort of were the first places to really sort of heal. I suppose they healed rather quickly, but I would say for after that my hands got really, really bad. Like, there's pictures on my photo journal where it's just awful. My face was so dry, I just was so uncomfortable still. I mean, I had it on less places, but it was just hard. And it was hard trying to explain to people I couldn't see them, because it's hard to put into words the sort of scope of it. I'm sorry, I keep leaning over so I don't, like, my computer doesn't go up, but like, you can't explain the magnitude of how it is, and explaining why you can't see anyone when to the outside world it's just a skin condition. And it's so much more than that, because it takes everything from you. You're just, it's weird. Until a couple of months ago, I think I was in this like weird bubble, like I don't know, it was just very extraordinary and very strange. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to go on too much more about the withdrawal process. I am 27 months in tomorrow. I'm doing really well. Being this well sort of crept up on me somewhat. I started noticing I had like a very long period where it was like a lull, like I had really bad hands. I had a bad ankle, which makes absolutely no sense to me, because I never used steroid cream anywhere near my ankle, like genuinely nowhere near my ankle. But yeah, that came up. And yeah, I just felt a little bit sort of, I don't know, I just had like this long lull. And then this summer, I sort of slowly started noticing things, but I didn't really dawn on me. And then at the beginning of August, I was just like, oh, my skin's good. And I looked at my hands and I was like, oh my God, they're like hands. And like my face, I thought, oh my God. And it really, I can't explain how it just literally was there. Like, I'd had this period of like this skin where I couldn't go do much, but it wasn't like extremely bad. It was just this odd middle period. It was so amazing. I mean, I'm in a place now where I have the odd rash. I don't know, I'm going to bring the camera up. I've had like tiny, there's like sort of a bit of dryness around my lips, but I feel like I look like my old self again, and that's extraordinary, because for quite a long time I didn't think I would. My hands are doing so well, and if you look at the video diary that I put up, you will notice that my hands have been through quite a change. Yeah, I don't know why this happened to me and I got better. I don't know if it's luck. I don't know if it's a natural process. It was going to happen for me around this time. Don't know if it was summer. I live in the UK, so we have cold winters, cold springs, bit of a warmish summer. So I don't know if it was like the warmer weather. Quite a lot of people think that helps, so maybe it does, but there's a chance that maybe for me it might have been I started this summer exercising a bit more and eating really well. I've always been a healthy-ish eater, but I've liked my chocolate and my ice cream and bad stuff that I would add on to a sort of relatively healthy diet. And this summer I did start doing a thing where I would eat well for 5 days of the week, like no refined sugars, you know, no junk food at all, and then the weekend have a few treats. And I did that for about a month, and I don't know if it was just, it's so hard to tell, you don't know what's causing, you know, your skin to be good. But for me, when my skin started getting really so much better, I've just eaten really well and exercised a lot more now. I don't know how long this skin is going to last, but I'm going to try and give it every chance it can of staying well. I mean, at the end of it, if my skin flares again, what have I lost? I've eaten well and I've lost weight. What a shame. It's a terrible tragedy. And after all that, my camera battery completely died on me, so I apologise. This is such a long video already and it's so bitty, so bear with me, I'm really sorry. Before it went off, I was going to talk about some tips that I picked up along the way, and also I was going to mention about moisturiser withdrawal, but those in themselves are such a saga. I think I'll leave them for a future video, really. And if anyone has any suggestions for other videos I could do, I've been thinking I might try a few things out and, you know, see how it goes anyway. But yeah, any suggestions are definitely welcome. But something I really wanted to make, before that, I should point out I've not been wearing any face makeup. I thought it would be a bit pointless to wear a layer of foundation for this video where I talk about skin. I'm obviously wearing eye makeup, but yeah, I haven't got any sort of, you know, foundation or powder or whatever, stuff like that, so you can see exactly what's going on with it. But I do have nail varnish on, and it was so fabulous. Sorry, I'm waffling, but the mundane task of being a girl and putting on nail varnish was so thrilling. I put it on for the first time after 2 years, about a week and a half ago, and it was just so nice being a girl again. And it's Essie ballet slippers, how pretty. Oh my god, yeah. Enough girl time. The last thing I wanted to talk about is a few fears that I had for the future, I suppose you would say, and sort of what I was going through. I was just a bit panicky, especially as what we are dealing with is so new and no one takes us seriously. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is my main fear was that I had some chronic eczema and I wasn't actually going through topical steroid withdrawal and having red skin syndrome. No, I have red skin syndrome. I had it, you know, I went through the topical steroid withdrawal. It wasn't some sort of chronic eczema. It was definitely topical steroid withdrawal. And I think even though I told myself that's what I had, at the back of my mind I had this like person saying, oh, but you could be the only one that's got like some weird eczema they haven't properly diagnosed yet. You know, I mean, things like that go through your mind. I let it, you know, happen, but try not to think that way, because it is pointless. Just let healing happen. I don't like saying healing, but just let this process happen, and you will get your skin back. It just takes a lot of time. The next thing I wanted to talk about is eyes. I had lost count of the amount of eyelids I had through this period, especially at the beginning. I had like eyelid upon eyelid going up, and I thought my skin in the future is going to be completely wrecked, like I'm going to have all this baggy skin. But no, there are my eyes. And if you look at my photojournal diary YouTube video that I posted before this one, my eyes at the beginning were crazy, but try not to worry because they do go down and the skin somehow, you know, sets itself back normally. Thirdly, the elephant skin. It goes. I mean, it's incredible that it goes. I looked at my hands sometimes, I was like, I've just completely ruined my hands for life. But it's a miracle what the skin can do. Like, it completely changes and it becomes that soft, you know, sort of supple like skin. Because I mean, when you're going through it, it feels so thick, doesn't it? And sort of, I don't know, it's very hard to explain if you haven't had it, but it's like, yeah, very, very thick. It goes, my skin's like as it was, and yeah, it's very exciting. I mean, it's a bit dry and a bit irritated in certain places, but I mean, it's whatever really in comparison to what it was. And yeah, so don't fear about that, because it will get better. And fourth, and the last one, which is probably the most important and the one that I see so much on the Facebook groups, the sweating. The sweating came into my withdrawal process maybe 4 to 6 months in. These times are very estimated, because I was so out of it and I was just going through the process, not really aware of what was happening. Oh my God, the sweating was, it was like your sweat glands had been turned off and then someone whacked them on very quickly, bam, you were a human waterfall all of a sudden. Just give this time. It's horrible. It's the most uncomfortable feeling. I mean, waking up and you're just drenched in sweat is just nasty. But just, I think I've heard this along the way, but it is a sign that your body is healing. So just go with it. It will go, I promise you that. I mean, I'm back to normal. And I was like considering, Botox under the arms. I was going crazy, but that was like a crazy fear day. Like, I was really panicking that day about the swing. But it goes, it's odd, it's not very nice, but it will go, I promise you. I think that's all for today, but I just wanted to say, lastly, thank you to the most bravest, wonderful people who inspired me to do this. Itzan, Kelly, you brave person for not only putting together Itzan. I think you had a website before Itzan, I'm not too sure, but thank you so much. Dr. Rappaport, I hope I've said your name right, thank you so much. There's a doctor in Asia, I don't want to butcher your name, but I'll write your blog link in the description bar. The other blogs that I followed that really inspired me, Jake and Libby's blog in Australia. I think that was the first blog I followed where I felt, God, I can do this. And yes, thank you so much. Josh in Australia, I really loved watching his videos. He was so positive and he kept me going when I had really rough times. He was so chilled out about it, and that was really wonderful. There's a blog called A Little Itchy, I think that's it. And I used to obsessively stare at her healed hands for so long. It was ridiculous. Like, I had a bookmark of this page where she just had, it was literally like her hand in like the bad bit of withdrawal and then her healed hand. I was like, oh my God, and I'd look down at my elephant hand and be like, oh my God, will my hand ever look like that? So thank you so much for your blog. Juliana, when I started topical steroid withdrawal, Juliana was going through a really good patch and she really inspired me and thought she always looked so lovely. Louise's blog was really informative through it all. Oh my God, have I missed anyone? I don't think that's it. But if you're going through topical steroid withdrawal and you're not on any Facebook groups, I would suggest joining them, because it's such a lovely community and there's always people that will help you. I will try and find links for the 4 Facebook groups that I am part of, because I try now to respond to people who ask questions, but it's just so nice. It's like a really nice bunch of people that want to help everyone out, and you can, people sort of say how they're feeling or they ask questions. It's really lovely. So I think I've gone on for too long. If you're still here, congratulations. I'm sorry, but I am doing so well and I'm really happy. I know how tough it is. It takes such a long time, but time goes and I feel so strong. I feel like I can do anything, and you will too. Just hang on in there. You have a virtual friend in me. I think we're all in this together, especially as it's so brand spanking new. We're a nice little community where everyone wishes each other well. Yes, I've gone on for too long, so have a lovely weekend and happy healing to everyone. Bye.